Hey everybody, KC here. Guess where I am? So I'm in Northern California for the Organic Produce Summit, where I'm going to be facilitating a grocer conversation on stage. But I decided to take a detour. I came to San Francisco because I wanted to see the Westfield Mall that is in such trouble that the owners of the mall have basically turned it down over to its creditors and said, it's your problem, not ours. And the multi-level Nordstrom, the big Nordstrom here, has announced that they'll be shutting down at the end of the summer. I wanted to see what things were really like. So right now I'm in the multi-level Nordstrom flagship store in the Westfield Mall in San Francisco. And, listen, it's hard to tell. On the one hand, it's a weekday afternoon, so how crowded would they be anyway? On the other hand, it's the very beginning of their anniversary sale, and you would expect that would generate a lot of traffic. I can remember being in Nordstrom's the first day or two of the anniversary sales, and man, they would be really busy because people wanted to take advantage of the lower prices. That's just not happening here. Now, everybody knows this store is going to be closing, so there's sort of a specter of defeat, right? A specter of death that kind of sits over the place. And it's just hard to know if that's what's, making it even slower than it was before they announced the closure. And I have no idea. What are they going to do with this place? Are they going to turn these, the floors that are the Nordstrom's, pickleball courts? The mayor of San Francisco has suggested tearing down the whole place and turning it into a soccer stadium. It's just hard to know. Listen, sure, there's crime, but they're also running against the currents in terms of consumer behavior. It may be that, these kinds of stores just simply are not going to be as viable as they were in the past. And even Nordstrom saw that with their Nordstrom local stores. They were really ahead of the curve on that. And it may just be that the opportunity for them to open stores like these in the future just not going to be what it used to be. One of the things I think about as I go through a mall like this is how important retail can be to a community, to a vibrant community, if the retail is connecting to that community, is relevant to that community, and has a sense of that community. Somehow that's not what is happening here, and it's sort of depressing. Somehow the stores in this place, and there are, a lot of them are closed, they lost touch, which is why it's sort of a mausoleum in terms of retail. So clearly San Francisco is in trouble, right? There's homelessness, there's poverty, there's crime, there's drug abuse, and there's high prices. That's just not a combination that's going to make for a thriving city. It's interesting, I can't quantify this at the moment, but it even strikes me that the tourist population is down. I've been here during the summer, and when people would line up here to go on the cable cars, the lines would be enormous. You could wait for hours and people would actually do it. There's a line, but it's not what it used to be. And I think San Francisco, to a certain extent, hoped that the tourist trade would sustain it while it tried to get its act together. I'm not even sure that's happening right now. So finally, I needed to be cheered up a little bit. So I walked down to the San Francisco Ferry building, which is actually celebrating its 125th anniversary. I just hoped that I was going to find a lot more activity than I did over at the Westfield Mall. Now, to be fair, on any other summer afternoon, it would be difficult to find a seat to sit down. It would be you'd have to wait online to order something to eat, and that's simply not the case right now. So clearly, San Francisco is feeling it. But I will say this, the Ferry building gives me a little optimism, and the reason is there's food here, there's drink here, there are people hanging out, they're trying interesting kinds of foods, they're hanging out, they're having a glass of wine together, they're having a beer, whatever it happens to be. There is here a sense of community and there's a sense of hope. And for me, it's all about the food, it's all about the beer, it's about the wine, it's about people coming together over the things that enrich us, that nourish us, both physically and psychologically, spiritually. So listen, San Francisco's got a long way to go before it digs itself out of this particular hole. But I continue to believe that for vibrant retail to make a difference in community, a lot of that vibrancy has to do with the things that we taste, the things that we smell, the things that we put in our mouths, that we share with our friends and our families. That's where the future is. Maybe in the words of Nellie Forbush, I'm just a cockeyed optimist. And I realize there are about 3 people in the Morning Newsbeat audience who even know who Nellie Forbush happens to be. But that's what's on my mind this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.